So, the topic of today's video essay is why we should learn more from kids. Actually, I would like to firstly state why we should learn from kids anyway, right? It's not modern wisdom or any wisdom to learn from kids. In fact, we teach kids, right? But I'd like to argue that why kids hold such a unique perspective in life and how we can actually be much better at what we do in all aspects of our life by learning and just observing kids. So there's a quote from Steve Jobs that for me is one of the most important things that I've ever heard in my life. And I try to revisit it very often. The quote is that the thing that we call life, everything around us, was basically made up by a bunch of people not smarter than you yourself. And if you tweak, if you push, if you kick, if you do some action, you might see that you could make an impact there and you could change a lot of those things that you really believed and grew up as this is life. In a lot of ways, we say, oh, this is what life is, right? We grow up, we go to school, we go get a job, we get some money in exchange for our job, and we pay our rent, and whatever is left, we shove it for a rainy day. So this is what life is, right? But God did not make life like this. This is what people like you and me ended up making it so. While I'm not saying you can skip the system, what I can say, you can definitely plan your life in a way that is not part of the system. You can always plan in advance. You can always do things a little differently. And that is why kids are so fascinating, because their minds are not corrupted by life, by what we know as life. When we grow older, we accept everything that is given to us, that is around us, as life. And our ability to question it, our ability to really see if this is for us, we get more and more used to it as we grow older. And with kids, you might have noticed that they ask a lot of questions. And sometimes even those questions, they make you think. How can you think of an instance where you were telling some kid something like, hey, do this, don't do that. And the kid is like, well, why? It's a very simple, but why? And it made you think. It made you think for like 15 seconds, and maybe you were like, because that's how life is. It is what it is, because I'm asking you to do this thing, you dismiss it, and the kid might listen to you because it's a kid. But it made you think for 15 seconds what the kid said and why was basically something that you couldn't respond to because you just accepted that. And the kid right now is in the midst of accepting that, but he hasn't or she hasn't yet, right? So in a lot of these cases, these kids are not corrupted by everything that is life. And their curiosity is always leading their actions. They're not fearful of their behavior. They're not thinking of how it's supposed to be. They're curious about things, and they're doing things whatever is inside of them telling them, and then they're moving towards doing these things. And then you tell them that this is not how it's done, this is how it's done, because that's life, because that's the rules, because that is the government, because that is the law, because that is that, right? So in a lot of ways, kids give us a very unique and raw view into how we were built initially, how God made us initially, how the universe was supposed to be initially, before we got into the system that was made by people no smarter than you and me, by the way, and we just accepted that. So in a lot of ways, if we really are around children, and if we really pay attention to their questions, if we really ask them things, and if they really get their perspective, you would know that they have a lot of ways to see life that we can't and we don't. And actually, that is a better way to go on about it. So I don't see kids giving you like a crazy good wisdom to do some really serious stuff, but just sharing things with them and just spending time with them, it gives you a perspective on how to see things in a way that is just not enforced onto us, but it comes from the inside. And that really helps us in making better decisions, and also making sure that we're following things that are essential for us, and we're not really drowning in the noise, and we're not really doing actions because we think we're supposed to, but in actual reality we have a choice. So having that with kids and having that kind of relationship and spending time with them and asking them questions and answering their questions would really help you to ask good questions in your life and really help you to break away from things that maybe you might think is how reality is, but is just enforced on you by society. And if you think about it, if you're a little creative, you can actually break out from them. So this is the end of the video. I hope this was helpful. I will see you in the next video.